PewDiePie, or Felix Kjellberg, is one of, if not the most popular YouTuber of all time. He has the most subscribers of any individual creator, and each and every one of his videos have not failed to get at least 1 million views. He's the dream every YouTuber has when they start out. Getting that big is what everyone wants. But you probably read the title. You probably know what this video is about. It's about the many oopsies of Felix, and while what he's done is bad, it's important to put it into context and judge it fairly. This is in defense of Felix Kjellberg.
I've been dancing in my room, swaying my feet, trying to get you love and a kiss on the cheek, caught in candy skies like I'm stuck in a dream, and I've been feeling blue, you're the one that I need.
Woof.
So, here's where we start. PewDiePie made fairly harmless videos, but some people may have gotten offended at the use of the word rape occasionally, but that was really just the style of humor at the time. He didn't do anything controversial for a while, but actually, here's an example. To judge those in the eyes of critics, we're going to be using u/Nizero's multiple listings of all of Felix's oopsies. He's an avid critic of Felix and has made multiple posts stating all the evidence he has for his beliefs. In early 2017, Felix got into a big controversy over a test of a website, Fiverr specifically. What Felix did was considered to be one of his worst blunders, but personally, I don't think that it is, especially considering the context. Take a look. It might seem horrible, and to everyone watching, it is, but this makes it a bit more sense and context. It doesn't make it okay, but it's pretty clear his intentions weren't malicious. See how there's a little subscribe to Keemstar thing there? Yeah, that's pretty much the whole point of the joke. He was making fun of Keemstar by saying something horrible and then saying to subscribe to him. Not only was he doing this, but in the same video you can see him trying to test the limits of what people on Fiverr would do for money. As you can see, it worked. He wasn't trying to make it intentionally offensive for the point of an edgy joke exclusively, but also to prove a point. And by that standard, you can see why his incident wasn't as bad as it seems. So obviously, it's a tasteless, horribly edgy joke, but it wasn't fruitless. PewDiePie himself admitted the joke went too far. He also states, there's a right way and not the best way to joke about things. He also says he loves to push boundaries when it comes to jokes like this.
But regardless of that, I just wanted to reiterate that my intention was to show how stupid the website is and how far you can push it by paying $5. I'm sorry for the words that I used, as I know they offended people, and I admit that the joke itself went too far. I do strongly believe that you can joke about anything, but I also believe that there's a right way and not the best way to joke about things, and I love to push boundaries, but I would consider myself a rookie comedian, and I've definitely made mistakes like this before, but it's always been a growing and learning experience for me, and it's something that I actually learned to really appreciate, and I think this whole situation has definitely been that for me.
The next controversy is often thought of as his worst one. Take a look.
What the fuck's happening?
What the hell was that? The potato was fucking insane. I was holding it so fucking straight.
What a fucking nigger. Jeez, oh my god, what the fuck? Sorry, but what the fuck? What a fucking asshole. I don't mean that in a bad way, Jesus fuck. Why would he do that? Legit, why would he do that?
So yeah, this one doesn't need that much of an explanation. He said the N-word because he was mad at someone for thirsting his teammate. Fairly simple. But a lot of people would argue that since he said it in the heat of the moment, then it must be in his regular vocabulary. Now this would be the normal assumption, but I mean, a lot of people say it, and it's regularly known as one of the worst words, so it's possible he could have said it on accident. There are also other videos of him almost saying it, so what's up with that? Well, it could be the explanation. He has it in his vocabulary. But assuming he doesn't use it in the worst context ever, it doesn't make him a racist in any capacity. Just needlessly offensive at worst. Either way, he hasn't had a slip-up in a couple years, so I just put these to rest. Now, let's get into controversial Twitter follows. Felix has been accused of following some people that are considered extremely far-right, or even Nazis in some instance. Let's go through them, and I'll explain why I believe Felix follows them. There are some that I can't explain, so that's going to go up to Felix's character and what you think about it. Stefan Molyneux is a philosopher, and as we all know, Felix is extremely interested in philosophy. JonTron, well, he's just really popular and a generally funny YouTuber, and this has nothing to do with his beliefs or controversies. Ian Miles Cheong is a gaming journalist, so it makes sense that Felix follows them. Brett Ellis is a writer. Felix likes reading, this one is self-explainable. Lauren Southern is an author. Brittany Pettibone is another author. Ben Shapiro is just a funny meme guy, not to mention he was on Meme Review at one point. Felix's reasons for following Ben are pretty clear. Chris Raygun is like JonTron, just a really popular YouTuber. The reason for following Steven Crowder may be similar to Ben Shapiro, as I have seen memes about him, but this one is a bit iffy. I'll leave it up to you and what you think. Jordan Peterson is a psychology professor. This might be the reason Felix follows him, since I wouldn't be surprised if Felix likes psychology. Lacey Green is pretty much a sex ed instructor. I don't see much wrong with this follow, honestly. And the thing I really want to say here is that following someone on Twitter doesn't mean you support everything they have ever done. If you believe Felix has ulterior motives for some of these follows, then that's fine, but I don't really think it's that deep. It's just a Twitter follow. This is another controversy on the list, and honestly, I find this one really weak. Felix, in a video still up on his channel, made a joke about Edgar claiming that crime in Felix's country was because of immigration. Take a look.
A multi-ethnic, multicultural society. That's pretty cool.
But why is the country, Felix, such a crime-ridden dystopia, enslaved by corporations? Wow, what a weird coincidence.
Hey, you...
This is horrible, undeniable evidence of racism, right? Well, if it came out of his mouth and not for a dumb joke, then yeah, probably. But right after he calls Edgar a racist.
What a weird coincidence.
Hey, you racist piece of shit! How dare you! God, I'm sorry about Edgar. Racist fucking dog. Hey, Uncharted 5 looks pretty cool.
Yeah. Not the strongest accusation there. Moving on, here is footage of PewDiePie saying what is known to be a derogatory term to Jews. Take a look.
I will have to destroy your knees. It's gonna be painful. Knees is one of the most painful places in the body. To get shackled. Shackled. Oh god, what... Shackled. Shattered. Shattered is what I said. Shackled, is that a word? I didn't mean for any other meaning. Fucking hell.
Well, all I can say is, why is this on here? All he did was mispronounce a word, and also knew that it could be used as a derogatory term. It's not even like the N-word controversy, where he said it as a derogatory term, and you could argue it was in his vocabulary. I mean, I feel like this list is kind of reaching here, but these last ones from PewDiePie himself are actually going to be a bit more solid. This one is actually quite good. Take a look.
Two things that I know about Pogo that I never really processed. Number one, his username is... I've noticed that if you go on Pogo's YouTube channel page, the URL that links to it is FAGOTTARON. I've seen that before and I thought, wait, that's a bit strange. Is it because he made his channel in 2007? He was a lot younger back then and had a silly, childish sense of humor and never really bothered to change it? Or is it because he actually hates gay people? Well, Pogo decided to answer that question.
I came up with Tron because I've always had a very thorough dislike of homosexuals.
to put this in context, he makes these live streams where he does random stuff. Like he explained, randomly meditating or not doing anything to dumbfound people. I'm guessing he thought it was so obvious that he's not a homophobe that he could make this sort of joke satiring homophobes, because that's really what it is. He's trying to do satire, and it's too real. If you don't know Pogo, if you don't know his type of humor, and you see this sort of clip coming out of nowhere, obviously a lot of people think it's real, and therefore it gets reported as such. By The Verge, for example, saying Disney remixer Pogo can't walk back on his homophobic comments. There's so many articles reporting this now, and I think a lot of people know as.
It appears Felix is actually quite split on this one. He knows that the joke is overly edgy, but at the same time, knowing Pogo's humor, he knows it's a very poor attempt at satire. This one, I'm not going to defend much. I think Felix is kind of responsible. Felix is obviously not very supportive of it and kind of understands what Pogo thinks, but at the same time, he recognizes that it is in poor taste. On this pastebin that I'm using, there was a link to a donation to a neo-Nazi, but we have no evidence of it, as the mega link has been deleted. The next one is a bit long and kind of hard to follow, so I would suggest looking at it yourselves.
Revenue. And here we are again, everybody. Now, back to the Ralph retort. Like I said, I don't know much about it. I know they have extremist people on there. I know they debate pretty insane things, but I also know that they do good things as well. They did this charity live stream where they raised $26,000 for St. Jude's Hospital, which is to help kids with cancer. So, you know, it's something positive at least. But the problem with this is that with Super Chats, you don't get paid immediately from YouTube. I think it takes about a month or so. So in between all this happening, Wall Street Journal was peeking around to write a story about this whole thing. Voila, about a month later, it appeared that everyone that donated to this live stream, the $26,000 that was made for charity, it was made to help kids suffering with cancer, all the donations were cancelled. They were not donated away like YouTube said. They were just put back, basically saying, we don't want them. And then following that, the article came out from Wall Street Journal saying hate speech on live super chat tests YouTube, which is, well, true to say the least. They talk about these offensive messages. And it also mentioned that St. Jude apparently arranged to return these donations in September. They added this feature in Super Chat where if offensive messages goes through, they would give it to charity. So now that they get offensive messages getting through for charity, they don't give the money that was supposed to go to charity for charity, they just delete it. They just say refund. Why? That makes no sense. Just take the money.
The Ralph retort raised $26,000 for charity using YouTube Super Chat, but YouTube decided to refuse the messages due to offensive messages in the Super Chat. The odd part about this is that when offensive messages are sent, the messages are removed and the money sent from the Super Chat is sent to a charity. But when the stream is for charity, the money is removed completely. A rebuttal video claimed that the live stream itself was offensive and denying the Holocaust, but even then, why would the donation still not go to charity otherwise? St. Jude had nothing to do with donations being stopped, but they did refuse the donations after the controversy, which makes sense. So there is good reason not to take the money. They were neo-Nazis denying the Holocaust on stream. I still fail to see how this is Felix's fault though, because he just appears to be misinformed about the topic rather than actively defending it. Now we're going to talk about the claims against Felix's fans. Let's go through them very quickly. Defaced a World War II memorial, shot up a mosque, shot up a synagogue, sprayed swastikas after a shooting, braided r/India, harassed and sent death threats to a kid for not knowing who Keanu Reeves is, wholesome 100 Reddit moment right there, hacked printers worldwide to support Felix, spread malware that would unlocked after Felix hit 100 million subscribers, spammed a music stream dedicated to traditional Hindu music, called Indians by a slew of racial slurs. So why are these here? Why should Felix be responsible for his fans to this extent? With the fan base as big as his, that's like asking everyone to be accounted for. He never encouraged any of this, and even publicly denounced a lot of these incidents after they happened. and Felix was never really in control of any of this. So, overall, at least in my opinion, Felix isn't some secret Nazi, or some secret racist, or some secret homophobe. He's just a guy with an edgy sense of humor and poor judgment. Some would say it's his responsibility with a fan base that big to do those things, but that's the thing. Felix doesn't really think what he's doing will be taken as seriously as it does. He's flawed. In my opinion, he does most of the stuff he wants in the sake of comedy and isn't trying to be malicious about it. So if anything, remember that. He doesn't ever really mean to hurt anybody, but if he does, he makes sure to apologize. And as always, thanks for watching. Peace. Hey guys, as an outro, I wanted to ask you to like and subscribe. This video took a lot of work. Also, it would be great if you checked out the podcast I work on and animate myself, the Rat Pack Podcast. It's owned by DUC FishyX, so it's really just a subsidiary of that channel. Check it out for some insight into my thoughts, experiences, and stories with my friends. Thanks.